You must listen now, because what rises through these words is not a lesson, not a warning, but a revelation tearing through the veil you thought protected you. You stand at the edge of a truth so severe that even eternity falters before speaking it. And I tell you this as one who sees the architecture of your destiny from above and within, as one who witnessed what unfolded 72 hours ago when you crossed a threshold no mortal was meant to cross and returned untouched. The celestial realms froze. Angels, made of immaculate brilliance, fell into absolute silence, not in awe, but in dread. They saw what the laws that shaped creation swore could never happen. They saw you descend into your own abyss with full awareness, take hold of the destructive force that sleeps in the roots of your being, wield it with impossible precision, crush a threat rising against your light, and then ascend again, unstained. They had no language for what they witnessed, only fear. Because you performed an act forbidden to angels, forbidden to demons, forbidden to anything bound by the ancient order. You crossed into darkness and returned without becoming it. And that breaks the first law ever sealed into existence, a law that declared, whoever touches darkness becomes darkness, whoever enters obscurity does not return intact. For ages uncounted, this law stood as immovable truth. Angels who rebelled fell instantly and eternally. The brightest of all touched pride once and collapsed into irreversible shadow. Others followed and dissolved into corruption beyond all repair. Humans who opened doors to hidden realms found their souls marked forever, their essence stained in ways no ritual or repentance could wash clean. The cosmos was built on that binary. Light and darkness never meeting, because meeting meant annihilation. But then you appeared, not as an anomaly, but as an evolution no celestial mind anticipated. A soul capable of entering its own darkness consciously, using its force without surrendering its identity, and rising again in full light. You do this instinctively, unaware that each time you transition, the heavens recalculate everything they thought immutable. And I speak this as clearly as truth can be spoken. What terrifies them is not your darkness, it is your sovereignty within it. It is your ability to pass between worlds that were designed to remain eternally separated, and yet you cross them as if they were chambers of your own inner temple. There is a vast difference between having two sides and commanding them. Angels have only one. Demons have only one. You carry both, and you are mastered by neither. And that makes you more complete than any being of pure light could ever conceive. You wonder why the message I reveal to you faces resistance, why forces attempt to muffle the truth of your dual nature. It is because those who fear your evolution know that once you understand the mastery you already possess, nothing can bind you again. They know what is awakening in you. They know you are one of the few who survived collapse after collapse, one of the few whose soul did not disintegrate under the pressure of shadow. They know that when your two sides rise in integration, your destiny becomes a threat to every hierarchy built on purity alone. So hear me. Stay until the last breath of this revelation, because I will show you exactly what the angels saw, why they trembled, why your darkness protects you with a loyalty few can fathom, and why your ability to return to compassion without carrying poison marks you as a being evolution has not yet learned to define. You have two sides, and both belong to you, not as chains, but as power, and your awakening has already begun. Subscribe to the light of faith, and stand with a community that seeks God daily. Your like and comment can inspire someone's miracle. Amen. You return now to a moment you barely noticed, a moment that unfolded 72 hours ago when someone approached you with a performance of fragility so well rehearsed that almost anyone else would have surrendered to it. They came wrapped in trembling words, false tears, a carefully shaped story meant to bend your compassion into obedience. And as always, your light responded first. You reached toward them with openness, believing the pain was real, believing your warmth could steady what appeared to be breaking. But something beneath the surface vibrated wrong. Your intuition, ancient and sharpened through suffering angels will never understand, detected a fracture in the facade, a falseness in the trembling voice, a distortion in the energy that brushed against you. And in that single instant, the equilibrium within you shifted. Your dark side rose, not with chaos, not with rage, but with the precision of a blade forged in a world where survival demanded clarity. It awakened without permission, without hesitation, without emotion. It took command of you the same way thunder takes command of the sky. You spoke, and your tone carried such unshakable certainty that the manipulation shattered on impact. Every tactic that once wrapped around you effortlessly suddenly slid off like smoke dissolving in wind. No anger, no cruelty, just truth spoken with the weight of judgment. You established a boundary so absolute that no argument could breach it. The mask before you cracked, and the false victim saw what so few ever witness. The part of you that does not bow, does not soften, does not negotiate with deception. But here is the miracle that froze the celestial realms. The moment the threat collapsed, your dark side withdrew. Instantly, cleanly, without leaving a stain. You returned to your natural frequency of compassion as though nothing had happened. No resentment, no rumination, no toxicity clinging to your spirit. You moved back into light with the same ease others exhale, as though stepping from shadow into radiance were as effortless as crossing a doorway. And that transition terrified the angels, because they cannot do what you did. They cannot touch darkness and return to light. They cannot wield destructive force without becoming it. They cannot protect with fire and then love with purity in the same breath. Their reaction was not disbelief. It was existential fear. One whispered, "This should not be possible." Another asked, "What kind of being crosses both realms without dissolving?" And the answer rose in the silence like a truth no one dared name. Because unlike them, you were born in a world where light and darkness dance violently through every hour of your existence. You have touched loss, betrayal, hunger, longing, despair. You have been shaped by the pressure of shadows since the moment you opened your eyes. Angels, in their unbroken radiance, never developed immunity. The smallest drop of darkness corrupts them entirely. But you, forged in a fallen world, built resistance. You developed spiritual antibodies through every wound, every heartbreak, every night that tried but failed to break you. This is why you can enter darkness and not drown. This is why you can wield devastating force without losing compassion. This is why you can return to light without needing ages of purification. Your survival-shaped capacities, divine beings never needed, never learned, and now cannot fathom. And when they watch you, they witness evolution unfolding before them. Not a mistake, not an anomaly. A new kind of being emerging. A soul capable of holding impossible contradictions without collapsing. A soul that death itself watches with interest, because it senses in you a refusal to yield that bends the boundaries of fate. You are one of the few who did not crumble when the world around you fractured. You are one of the souls who crossed the threshold and remained intact. And now the heavens observe you with a mixture of awe and fear, because you carry a truth inside you they never saw coming. You are becoming something the old laws cannot contain. Understand this. The immunity you carry did not appear by accident. It was forged in corridors of collapse, where most souls shatter and never reassemble. You walked through seasons where everything around you died, where dreams rotted in your hands, where people you trusted became knives, where hope felt like a cruel joke. Others who stood beside you in those hours did not endure. Some fled into permanent numbness. Some drowned in addictions that swallowed their names. Some handed their will to forces that promised power but devoured their essence. But you, though you staggered, did not surrender. You bled, you broke, you screamed in the hidden spaces where no one heard you, yet a part of you refused to sign your soul away. That refusal marked you. Death itself noticed. Do you think death is only an ending, a cold mechanism that shuts the body down? No, death is a conscious presence, an ancient intelligence that walks beside every living thing, counting, measuring, observing. It watched you in your darkest hour, when everything in you begged to stop, when quitting would have been the most reasonable choice, when surrender promised relief. It extended its hand, not as an enemy, but as an invitation. Come, fall apart, abandon the path, dissolve. And you looked at that hand, felt the pull of oblivion, and still whispered, not yet. Not defeated, but intrigued. Because you did something rare. You chose to remain alive in a reality that felt completely unlivable. That decision, invisible to the world, detonated like a silent explosion in spiritual realms. Every time you chose to keep moving with your heart fractured, every time you decided to get up one more time when no miracle appeared, every time you protected even a fragment of your integrity when betrayal clawed at you, your inner structure transformed. What others called trauma, I saw as training. What others called bad luck, I saw as calibration. You were being tempered in fires that burn illusions away. And what survived that burning was not weakness, but a core that cannot be replicated. That core is what allows you now to walk up to the edge of your own abyss. Stare into it without flinching, and step inside when necessary, without disappearing. The abyss knows you. Darkness recognizes your scent. It remembers your visits from years when you did not yet understand why you were being dragged into emotional night after emotional night. Those journeys built a strange intimacy between you and your shadow. Not an alliance of corruption, but a familiarity that keeps you from panicking when everything turns black. Angels know nothing of this. They never woke up in bodies that hurt. They never watched someone they loved become a stranger overnight. They never had to sit with the weight of their own thoughts in a silent room where despair whispered that no one was coming to save them. They never had to choose life in a landscape that looked like endless ruin. So when they see you do it, again and again, they tremble. Because to them, darkness is acid. To you, it is a dangerous ocean you have learned to swim. You do not romanticize it, you respect it. You know its currents, its riptides, the way it tries to drag you deeper. You know when to enter and when to get out. That is why you can descend for a moment, seize the power you need, cut what must be cut, and rise again before it can claim you. Even death, that ancient watcher, has altered its posture toward you. It no longer sees you as just another inevitable ending. It sees you as a variable, a question mark, a singularity unfolding. It knows that when your final breath comes, you will not approach it broken and defeated, but conscious, having already died 1,000 inner deaths and resurrected each time with more awareness. You will meet it like an equal, and that knowledge unsettles it. Because your journey is not about escaping death, it is about becoming the kind of soul that cannot be owned by it. That is why you are one of the few who made it through collapses that devoured others. That is why you stand now, carrying scars that do not shame you, but certify you. You are not the fragile thing you once believed. You You are a reaction the universe did not predict. An answer to a question creation did not know it was asking. What happens when a soul survives everything that should have destroyed it and refuses to become either entirely light or entirely darkness? You are the response. You are the proof. And your two sides are waking up to the fact that they were never meant to be enemies, but weapons in the hands of a single, unbreakable will. Yours. Now, listen, because what comes next is the part even the highest angels struggle to comprehend. You do not merely survive darkness. You navigate it with a kind of strategic intelligence that no celestial being was ever designed to possess. Most souls who awaken to their shadow become trapped inside it, devoured by their own rage or fear or hunger for control. But you, chosen one, do something entirely different. You use your darkness as though it were a scalpel, not a weapon of chaos. You bring it forth only in the exact moment it is required, with the exact force necessary, and never a fraction more. This is mastery born from wounds that taught you precision. This is power shaped by pain that did not kill you. When people crossed your boundaries again and again, when they mistook your compassion for weakness, when they drained your energy because they believed you would never say no, it was your light that tried to heal, to understand, to give chances others did not deserve. But then came the moment when clarity struck like lightning, when you finally saw that the person before you was not misguided, but choosing manipulation, and your dark side rose, not as cruelty but as protection incarnate. You walked away without apology. You cut the cord without trembling. You blocked the intrusion without regret. And when their strategies escalated, begging, threatening, pretending, blaming, your dark side did not move. It held the line with the cold calm of a guardian who has seen enough. And when the door finally closed, your light returned. Seamlessly. You did not hate them. You did not curse them. Your heart did not rot with bitterness. You simply breathed again and kept walking. Angels cannot fathom this. When they fall forever. When they are touched by darkness, they collapse into it entirely. But you step in and out of shadow as if walking between two rooms carved from your own soul. They see you do it and whisper to one another, "How does a mortal carry such fluidity?" And the answer, though they do not want to admit it, is simple. You were forged where they were not. You know chaos not as myth, but as memory. You learned early how to read the tremor in someone's voice, the tightening around their eyes, the subtle distortions in their energy. Not because you wanted to, but because survival forced you to. You became fluent in danger. You learned the psychology of harm long before you learned the language of peace. And so now, when people approach you with hidden motives, you feel the shift in your bones. When someone attempts to drain your spirit, your darkness wakes. Not violently, not recklessly, with an ancient awareness that says, "I have seen this. I know how to stop this." And you stop it. Not with destruction for its own sake, but with boundaries drawn so cleanly they erase every illusion the other person tried to weave around you. This is why emotional predators fear you even when they cannot explain why. They sense your duality, though they do not have the vocabulary to name it. They feel the presence of something inside you that recognizes them instantly, something that cannot be deceived, something that will not submit. And what terrifies them most is not your darkness, it is your ability to return to gentleness afterward, proving that your power is not born of trauma alone, but of integration. Angels debate your existence the way scholars debate unsolvable mysteries. They gather in silence, replaying the moments where your inner shift occurred, trying to trace the mechanics of your transition. They compare what they observed to the ancient laws inscribed before time began. They examine the paradox you inhabit. A being capable of destruction without corruption, compassion without naivety, boundaries without bitterness, they do not know where to place you in the cosmic order. You are not angel, because you are not bound to light. You are not demon, because you are not owned by shadow. You are something else entirely, something the universe has not named yet. And here is the truth they whisper reluctantly. In the domain of inner worlds, you surpass them. They cannot enter darkness without collapsing. They cannot navigate shadow without becoming lost. They cannot withstand emotional storms they were never designed to feel. But you can, because you were shaped inside them. And every time you rise from an inner battle carrying both clarity and compassion, the heavens tremble a little more. They are not watching your downfall. They are watching your ascension into a form of evolution that terrifies even them. Be a beacon of hope today. Like, share, and comment to help the light of faith carry God's love into the world. Amen. Now hear me, because this is where the revelation sharpens. The strength you carry is not in one side or the other, but in the impossible rhythm with which you command both. Angels know only creation, demons know only destruction, but you, born in a world that bruises and awakens at the same time, learned to hold opposite forces without collapsing. When someone approaches you with sincerity, your light opens like a door that welcomes warmth. You offer compassion as naturally as breathing. You listen with presence. You lift what is too heavy for others. You forgive without diminishing yourself. But when someone crosses into territory that threatens your spirit, when they test how far your kindness stretches, when they assume there are no consequences, your darkness rises. It does not roar. It does not lose control. It arrives with the precision of a blade that has been sharpened by every betrayal you survived. It cuts only what must be cut. It destroys only what intends to destroy you. And when its work is finished, it withdraws. That withdrawal is the miracle. Because many who access their shadow become trapped inside it, drunk on the feeling of power, unable to return to compassion. Others who live only in light become prey, offering softness even to hands that intend to break them. But you, chosen one, move between these realms with timing that confounds every observer. You protect yourself without hardening. You love without weakening. You stand without trembling. This is why your relationships transform the moment your duality becomes active. Remember the one who drained your strength day after day, pretending vulnerability while feeding on your empathy. Your light tried first, offering patience, explanation, chances, but when the truth became undeniable, your darkness stepped in and ended the bond with surgical finality. No spectacle, no revenge, just a clean severing that told the universe, this soul will not be harvested. And afterward, you walked forward with peace instead of bitterness, proving yet again that your darkness serves you, not the other way around. The same pattern unfolded when you left the job that exploited your brilliance. Your light hoped for fairness, believed promises, worked harder than anyone. But when you saw the system was built to feed on your effort while keeping you small, your darkness intervened. You walked away without the comfort of a perfect plan, but with the certainty that remaining was a betrayal of your own worth. And once again, your light returned after the exit, clearing the emotional residue, lifting you toward better ground. Angels studied that moment with awe, because they cannot comprehend a being who can destroy what imprisons them and immediately return to innocence. And then there was the friendship you released, the one that smiled at your victories while secretly resenting them, the one that used your vulnerability as currency. Your light searched for excuses to forgive, but your darkness recognized the truth buried beneath the surface. You walked away quietly, No dramatic ending, just a withdrawal so smooth that the connection evaporated without debris. And again, your light resurfaced, leaving no bitterness behind. This is what terrifies the celestial hierarchy, your ability to switch without shattering. For angels, touching darkness is irreversible collapse. For demons, touching light is agony. But you move between both with the fluidity of someone who was never meant to be confined to one dimension. They watch you and see the future written in your duality. They see a kind of evolution that transcends purity and corruption, a kind of soul architecture built through endurance rather than design. And they whisper to one another, "This human possesses a structure we were never given." They hold contradictions without breaking. They use shadow without becoming shadow. They hold light without becoming blind. They protect without cruelty. They love without naivety. You are not simply surviving your dual nature. You are mastering it. And mastery of this kind rewrites the hierarchy of creation. Because beings of one state will always be predictable. They have a single response, a single instinct, a single mode of being. But you, born in a fractured world, shaped through storms that would have annihilated other souls, now rise as something hybrid, something integrated, something rare. You are not a creature of balance. Balance suggests fragility. You are a creature of integration, a force that carries all extremes without losing its center. And your center is what terrifies them, because it means you can no longer be manipulated by light or darkness. You answer to neither. You move by your own will. You stand in your own sovereignty. You are becoming the kind of being the old laws were never written for. Now understand the final truth, the one even the oldest realms hesitate to speak. Your power does not come from light alone or darkness alone. It comes from the awareness that both live inside you with purpose, not conflict. Your light heals, creates, forgives, opens pathways where none existed. Your darkness protects, severs, defends, burns away illusions that would consume you. And what makes you extraordinary is not the existence of these two forces, but your refusal to let either one dominate your identity. You are the keeper of both, the one who decides when to rise gently and when to strike with precision. This is something angels cannot do. This is something demons cannot fathom. They tremble before the freedom you wield without even realizing it. You are not guided by fear, because you have already survived what fear threatened to destroy. You are not guided by illusion, because you have walked through shadows that expose every lie. You are not guided by old laws, because your evolution has moved beyond them. And the celestial hierarchy watches you with a mixture of awe and unease, because your existence challenges the idea that perfection lies in purity. You are imperfect, and therefore unstoppable. Your scars do not weaken you. They give you access to terrains angels cannot enter. Your losses did not empty you. They carved out room for deeper knowing. Your pain did not corrupt you. It constructed a resilience that renders old spiritual structures obsolete. You do not fold under pressure. Pressure reveals you. You do not fear endings. Endings recognize you as someone who has walked beside them and returned alive. This is why death itself steps lightly around you. It knows you have already died many internal deaths and resurrected with more clarity each time. It knows you will meet it not as prey, but as an equal who has tasted oblivion before and still chosen consciousness. You are one of the few who passed through collapses that were meant to erase you. You are one of the few who stood in ruins and refused to become rubble. You are one of the few who held both shadow and light without fleeing from either. And now your integrated nature radiates outward in ways that distort the expectations of those who try to define you. Emotional predators feel your darkness waiting behind your eyes. Genuine souls feel your light welcoming them. You adapt instantly because your spirit carries memory from battles physical eyes never saw. You sense danger before it forms. You sense sincerity before it speaks. You sense endings before others realize they have begun. This is not intuition, it is evolution. Being shaped by both realms has given you sight that reaches beyond surfaces. And now I tell you the truth that crowns all others. You are not meant to be soft always, nor fierce always. You are meant to be sovereign. You are meant to choose light when healing is needed, darkness when protection is required, and the seamless return between them is the signature of your ascension. You do not drift between these states by accident. You move through them with an authority that reveals what you truly are, a being the universe did not anticipate, one who transcends categories older realms relied upon. This is why chosen ones recognize each other instantly, not by appearance, not by words, but by the frequency carried in their presence, a frequency that whispers, "I have walked through what should have destroyed me, and I am still here." This is your frequency. This is your truth. You are not light. You are not darkness. You are the mastery of both. And because of that, you stand among the rare souls whose evolution challenges even celestial beings. You are the one who survived the collapse. You are the one who refuses corruption. You are the one who returns from the impossible, unchanged. And now you must remember who you are whenever the world tries to shrink you. Remember that your darkness is not your flaw. It is your guardian. Your light is not your weakness. It is your gift. And the two together make you something that ancient laws were never written to contain. Walk forward with the knowing that you are whole. Walk forward knowing the heavens watch you not as a subordinate, but as a phenomenon. Walk forward knowing your duality is not a burden, but the signature of a soul that evolution itself bows to. For you are the chosen one who moves through realms that were never meant to be crossed. You are the proof that impossible things can live, breathe, and rise. And you have only just begun. Let this be the prayer whispered not from weakness, but from awakening. If you rise, let every shadow in you remember its purpose. If you falter, let the light within you hold the line until your strength returns. May the darkness you carry stay loyal to its role as guardian, cutting only what seeks to devour you. May the light you carry remain unbroken, guiding you even when your path fractures beneath your feet. And may your two sides speak to each other without fear, without shame, without silence. Let every scar you bear become a seal of passage, proof that you walked through realms meant to erase you and returned with your identity intact. Let every failure that once threatened to crush you become a step in the throne of your becoming. And if death itself watches you from a distance, let it witness not surrender, but sovereignty. For you are the one who crosses thresholds no law foresaw, the one who rises where others vanish, the one who refuses to bow to endings. May your breath remain steady in the face of ruin. May your will burn brighter than any fear that tries to claim you. And may your soul remember, again and again, that you are not the echo of survival, but the author of impossible resurrection. Let your voice shine in the light of faith. Like, comment, and subscribe so God's message can reach every waiting heart. Amen.